I 32, female, have a husband, 37 male, and a daughter, 6 female. I am Indian, but of mostly Caucasian ethnicity. I am a descendant of French immigrants to India in Pondicherry, have French citizenship and a lifelong visa for India called OCI, and have lived in both countries. And he is Iranian, and we live in a Western country which is not France. My husband and daughter have visited both my family in India and France multiple times. We have, however, never been to Iran, but he has made solo trips there sometimes. Recently, he brought up that his family really want to see me and our daughter, and wants us to go with him. I refused, and he called me the bad guy and we are fighting over it, and things are quite tense. I brought up that it would be risky for us, due to the political situation between the West and Iran, and how I and our daughter look, and that we are not religious. He said I should have no trouble if I wear a headscarf, and we pretend to be Muslim, or even Christian, during our visit. He thinks I am a hypocrite, because we went to India, and claims that they are both third-world countries where a Caucasian woman would face similar issues. I think there is more nuance here, as I speak Tamil and French, and while India does have many issues, my family there is established and known, and that city is generally more developed and safe than other parts of India. He says his family is from a good part of Iran too. But I never had him pretend to not be religious or covered my head in India. I just said to avoid mentioning religion at all. I even suggested we try to help them get a visa to visit us or meet in a third country, but he says it would be too hard and his parents are old and unwilling to travel. Am I the bad guy here, since we all went to India and France? And now, for the top comments. Not the bad guy. I'm an Iranian American and half of my family lives in Iran. Sadly, I can't visit due to the political situation. It's especially dangerous for Westerners, dual citizens, and non-Muslims. I hope I can visit someday, and WhatsApp works in the meantime. Not the bad guy. More than one European country has advised its citizens not to travel to Iran, and/or for citizens, currently in Iran, to leave as soon as possible. This includes France. The political situation in Iran is very volatile at this time. I wouldn't want to travel there, and I would not bring a child there. Not the bad guy. Triple check parental and personal rights if you go. You may not be able to leave with your daughter if he decides to stay. You may not be allowed to leave. I've read that a minor child cannot leave Iran without the consent of the father. Not the bad guy. Don't go there. And don't allow your child to go there either. That country is dangerous as F right now. Especially towards women. The fact that he compares India with Iran, even though the situation is completely different, tells me he doesn't see reason, or has ill intentions. Go to Iran with your daughter? Oh heck no, not the bad guy. And keep the kid's passport and papers where dear husband can't access them. Just saying. My 23 female mother-in-law, 54 female, comes over our house a lot to see the kids. She's the type who comes and stays forever talking your ear off. The kids love her, and she plays with them, and so that's good. But she is always going to the bathroom whilst leaving the door open. Our bathroom is the first doorway in the hallway. You have to pass by to go to the playroom, kids' rooms, our bedroom, etc. I've brought it up to my significant other before, and he gets uncomfortable with it as well. My daughter has even closed the door for her, and Emil just goes, oh, it's no big deal. But with my young children, 1 male and 4 female, I am incredibly worried about this continuing as they get older. It's weird, uncalled for and just completely unnecessary. The other day she came, and I had my cousin, 20 female, over. She proceeds to do her usual bathroom, while the door is open. And I told her to leave after, because it made my cousin uncomfortable, as it makes everybody else. She got upset. My significant other, 26 male, said he's glad I said something because it was wrong. She hasn't talked to me since, and says I was rude in front of my cousin. Which I was, I'll admit. But I don't think I am being unreasonable. She has been talked to about it multiple times. The only time she doesn't is when we have parties. My children shouldn't see it. My husband shouldn't. I shouldn't. It's weird. So, am I the bad guy for telling her to leave and telling her off? And now, for the top comments. Not the bad guy. You. The only time it's acceptable to use the bathroom with the door open is when you're alone. Or if it's just you and your young kids, and you need to be able to hear them. But an adult leaving the bathroom door open while there are other adults around? Yuck. You were right to call her out. Not the bad guy. You had talked to her about it before, and she chose to ignore you. It's your home. She doesn't get to make you and your guests uncomfortable in your own home. I'm glad significant other agrees with you. But he should have been willing to talk to his mother instead of it getting to this point. Not the bad guy. It's common courtesy, when you are in someone else's home, to close the door when going to the bathroom. This would be especially true since you've addressed this with her in the past. She's treating your home as her home, not yours, and that is immensely disrespectful. Granted, my petty side would be teaching my kids to start calling her Granny the Fanny Flasher. Am I the bad guy for bringing up my deceased sister? My sister passed away a couple months ago and left behind a 4-year-old son, Jack. Jack lives with my parents, as his dad is a massive piece of crap. I'm staying with my parents for a bit to help out, and while I've been here, I've noticed that my dad rarely interacts with Jack. When he does talk to Jack, it seems like he has these walls up. I understand that it may be hard, since Jack is an exact copy of his mom. But treating him like he isn't there isn't correct, in my opinion. The morning before last, I woke up to Jack crying, and my parents arguing. What happened was that Jack was playing with his toys, while my parents were sitting on the couch. He was playing pretend with 3 action figures, and in his game, one of the 3 died. Then he made the others console each other, and he repeated some things that were said to him when his own mom died. I did some research when my sister passed to find out how to move forward regarding Jack, and it mentioned things to look out for, and things that were normal. It was mentioned that reenacting stuff with toys is normal. I even double-checked with a therapist. I explained all these things to my parents. My dad, I guess, forgot, and was all like, "What the heck are you doing?" My mom remembered what I told her, and told my dad to leave him alone. But my dad found Jack's way of playing super weird and messed up, and they started arguing. My dad even suggested that Jack may be a sociopath. He didn't say it outright though. I told my mom to take Jack out for a bit, and after she left, my dad said he doesn't know what's gotten into him. I guess he realized he overreacted. I just felt terrible for Jack, who had to hear everything. So instead of comforting my dad like usual, I told him, "I don't know what's gotten into you either." I didn't want to go there, but do you think sister would be happy with how you're treating her son? My dad got teary-eyed and said I had no right to bring up my sister. He said that I'm guilt-tripping him, and he also said that he never thought I'd stoop so low. I told my dad he should be ashamed of himself, and he got frustrated, said "I'm sorry I'm not acting that great after my daughter just died," and walked off. I don't think I was wrong to say what I did, but I do feel bad. My parents had my sister when they were teenagers, and my dad was especially close to her. He definitely took her death the hardest. It's making me wonder if I made the right choice to say what I did. Am I the bad guy? And now, for the top comments. Not the bad guy. You have a valid point. Your sister would not want her son living in that kind of environment, where he's punished for going through the healing process. I understand your dad is still grieving, and may not be handling this the best, especially since Jack reminds him of what he lost. Your dad does need the reminder that this is his daughter's son. She would want him treated with love, understanding, and respect. Especially since his own dad isn't around to care for him. Your father lost a daughter. But Jack lost his mother. Not the bad guy. Sounds like your dad might need to get some counseling to assist him in dealing with his daughter's passing. It can't be an easy thing for a parent to go through, and quite probably made harder for him with his grandson being a constant reminder. Sorry for your family's loss. Not the bad guy. It sounds like your dad knows he screwed up. And while you were right in what you said, it was a bit brutal, for a parent who has just lost a child. People who have lost children, adult or not, are dealing with unimaginable grief. Processing that grief will take time. And he is now responsible for his grandson. He probably wouldn't have it any other way, but he hasn't parented a young child for a while. Grief counseling for your dad and Jack would be ideal. If your dad apologizes to Jack and they talk about your sister when they are both ready, hopefully they can repair their bond. I doubt it will help your nephew if your dad spirals in his grief. Guilt trips aren't good for anyone.